Okay, you guys, I am so excited today to talk with Destiny Wimpye because not only has she had a really interesting sort of pathway to where she is right now, but I think you're going to really get a lot out of where she's going and where she's been. Destiny, so good to see you.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You know what I love about your story is that you have not had this linear path where you've been at one dance studio your entire career. You've kind of taken these steps that I think are really important, and I think a lot of dancers will get a lot out of like how you've made these choices to go to different studios and different schools. So let's kind of like go back because I know you're originally from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Now, how did you wind up? Because I know you wound up at Debbie Allen's studio when you were little. A lot of people have seen you on the Hot Chocolate Nutcracker on Netflix. How did
Mhm.
you wind up there, going from Atlanta, coming all the way to Los Angeles?
Yes. So I started as a competition dancer. So that's what I was doing in Atlanta for the longest time. I started dancing at age 3, and how I ended up in LA. I did a summer course. Debbie Allen Dance Academy had a summer course, and I just decided to go. And that's when my mom and I went to LA. And from there. Oops, sorry. And from there, I just, I was asked to stay. Miss Allen saw something in me, and she was like, we'd love to have you here at the studio. And from there, my mom and I made the decision to kind of just move out there. And so that's how I ended up there at age 9. So,
It's unbelievable. And I think that you obviously have a very supportive mother. This is a big decision to pack up your lives in Atlanta and go, let's just go to LA. She can
yeah.
train with Miss Allen. Obviously, that was a big decision for your mom. Has she talked with you about like, hey, we're going to make this big move? And I'm sure now that you're a little bit older, you realize that was an amazing step that she took.
Yes, for sure. We definitely talked about everything. It was kind of she was kind of hesitant at first because obviously it's a big deal moving to LA from Georgia. That's just a crazy step, like you said. And so we just tried to keep talking with each other about it and trying to figure out if it's the best move to make. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, my mom just wanted what was best for me, and she knew that since how seriously I took dance, she knew that this would be an amazing step for my career, and that's just the type of mom I have. And she was there for me.
I love
During
that.
that.
That's such a, I mean, it's so incredible that she sacrificed, her life in Atlanta and said, we'll go and make this happen in Los Angeles. I think every step of the way you learn something, you kind of like take it with you and then move on to the next location. What was it about Miss Allen's studio? Like, what did you walk away with besides great technique? Because I know that she's really giving you guys a foundation, not just in ballet, but in
Mhm.
all different styles.
Right. I think what I learned most, I feel like there was just really being able to just be your own dancer and know how to kind of bring yourself into your art form, whether it's ballet or like whatever you're doing. I think that was the biggest thing, and just going for things and being fearless, especially with the different technique and different styles that I was training at there. It really helped me realize that I could do any career path I wanted. I could be a ballet dancer, but then I could also really kick butt in some modern classes. So like I just think being fearless and just going for whatever you can. I think that's the biggest thing I learned there.
Yeah, she really instills something. I always find I've interviewed her a bunch and I always walk away really inspired. I know she's strict. I get it. But I think I respond to that well. I'm like, oh, she just wants the best out of everyone.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, it definitely resonates with you. What gave you or what made the decision to leave Debbie Allen's studio? Because then I know you went to the Coburn School, which for people that don't know this, it's a fantastic school in downtown Los Angeles, not only for dance, but for music and theater. And it's beautiful facilities right by the Walt Disney Hall, which is incredible.
Hmm. Yeah. So with that decision, I did another summer course. So I went to School of American Ballet at 13. And that was my first like strictly ballet summer course.
That's a big
And
deal.
yes, it was a big deal. I was freaking out the whole time, but I learned a lot, and I kind of just fell in love with the balancing technique there. And that's something I didn't have while training at Debian Dance Academy. And so from there in LA, I was just looking for different schools and trying to figure out how I can transition to focusing on strictly ballet. And yeah, that's how I made that move. I just really wanted to train more in the balancing technique and really want to focus and hone in on my ballet technique. And that's
All right, I
kind
have two questions since you were at SAB.
of
First of all, not having a lot of Balanchine foundation to your training, what was that summer like? Because it's not easy. It's a real, there's a difference in style for sure. It's a very specific technique.
right. It for me, I didn't know anything about anything. I was very honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I was very clueless about when it came to the balancing technique and SAB and all of that. So it was a lot. But it was fun for me. I was just like, oh, okay, we're moving quick. Let's do it. Like it was awesome for me. And I think I can understand how it can be overwhelming for some dancers who are, trained so classically and then try to jump into that. But for me, I was just ready to try new things. So whatever they threw at me, I was ready for it.
Oh, I bet they love that. So was there kind of an aha moment? Oprah always says, like, there's an aha moment. Like, did the light bulb go off one day in class and you're thinking, I love dance, but ballet is it for me?
Honestly, I mean, it was like the first day of the summer course. Like I was in New York, and before that I trained at I did A summer courses, so I love New York. And so being there and then trying new things is just my biggest thing. And so being there, I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome. So I think that really just the first day of classes and all the new teachers and all the new things I was learning, I was like, I have to explore this more because I know nothing like about it. I need to focus on this. This is what I want to do. And really the trips that they took us on, like seeing the ballet, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And yeah, for me, that was it.
I always find that interesting, like how there's all the pieces kind of like come together. So you're back in Los Angeles. You're going to the Coburn School. They have Balanchine technique there too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're continuing with that. What did you learn from Coburn? Because I think, again, you're taking, the next step on the journey. Where did it really guide you to wind up at Pacific Northwest Ballet?
I think Coburn just taught me a lot about artistry and even more about becoming just a better dancer and a stronger dancer. I think I grew so much there. It was insane. Just the teachers that we have, the guest teachers that they bring in, and just so much knowledge. I just got so much from that school. And so I'm like forever thankful for that, because I feel like without Coburn, I definitely wouldn't be the dancer I am today. I just became stronger. I guess that's all I can really say. Obviously, I learned more about the technique I was training in, but just really being kind of in the ballet world even more was just amazing for me. And just it was a lot, but I was happy to just learn new things.
And it led you to the professional division at Pacific Northwest Ballet. So you are there now. You're in Seattle right now.
Yes, yes,
I love it. You have traveled coast to coast and then up. You're like, I will go anywhere for ballet.
yeah.
So your mom, obviously your mom has packed up again and moved with you to Seattle?
No, I'm here. I'm here by myself. Yes. So, oh, I'm sorry about that. So, yes, I'm here by myself. I'm in an apartment, and yeah, it's nice. And when I was in LA, I was in dorms. So that was my mom was there with me for a little bit, but yeah.
So you're now kind of you're on your own. What is that like now that you're in an apartment? Because it's a whole different world than even being in a dorm.
Right. It's interesting. I love the independence. And I learned a lot of responsibility. That's another thing I learned from Coburn. I wanted to say, responsibility, really, being independent and being alone because my mom was with me when I was at Debbie Allen Dance Academy. And then the apartment situation is just kind of different from a dorm, obviously, because I need to make my own food and just all different stuff like that. But I feel like I'm ready for it. And I feel like Coburn prepared me for that. Being in dorms prepared me for this situation that I'm in now.
All right. So I have to ask, we are in a pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm going to imagine that you're not in the studio every single day. Is it a hybrid situation where you're in studio some days and then some days are learning from home?
Well, we're in like pods now, pods of 5. We actually can be in the studio every single day for now because the company is off right now. So there's more studio availability.
Mhm.
So we can go in the studio now. But before, it was kind of just twice a day. And we had pods of like 3, 4. Now it's 5. It's definitely been hard, but the rest of the days we dance at home in our apartments.
All right, so this is getting better. I'm like, this is good. Everyone's starting to work things out. I talked with Tulsa Ballet. They were able to do a Nutcracker in a theater this year, and I'm like, every state is so different. San Francisco Ballet, I just spoke with Sasha DeSola, and she was like, we're doing everything virtual, but they are going in studio, at least in pods as well. Everyone seems to be doing pods.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to imagine also you're still in school. So are you doing homeschooling and it's up to you to make sure you get your work done?
Right. I do online school. Yes. So that's the biggest thing. And my mom always tells me, I have to keep up with my schoolwork or I'm not going to be dancing, So I definitely have a lot of motivation to keep doing school and pushing through that. But yep, I'm a senior and I'm also looking at colleges right now too. So.
Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is an interesting conversation because I always speak with dancers and that you kind of reach that graduation age and you go, do I go to college? Do I try for a company? You can do both now because the wonderful thing is that college does have that online option, which it didn't when I was, 18. So what are you kind of thinking? I know you still have a little bit of time, but you have to be applying, I've got to imagine.
Right. Well, I'm applying for colleges all over, but I'm thinking about more of this college in Seattle because I really do want to focus on the PD program at PNB, but it really just depends. Virtually, like that's the good thing also about the pandemic. Sorry, like that sounds
no, but it's made up more opportunities, I think, for artists and doing schooling at the same time. So
yeah, so that would be great too, being able to go to college virtually and just figure that out. But I definitely want to get a degree at some point, whether that's sooner or later. Yeah.
Have you looked at any type of conservatory program where, like, maybe University of Utah, where they have a ballet program within the college?
Yes, I've looked at, Boston Conservatory, Juilliard, different places with dance programs. So that is an option for me as well. I'm really just, trying to figure it out.
You're just open-minded to kind of whatever comes your way. That's fantastic. How has the issue of mental health been in the pandemic? Because I know it's been hard for a lot of dancers, just making sure that you keep your spirits up, you keep yourself moving, because that's usually what keeps everyone going.
Right. Well, I think I don't want to brag, but I feel like I have a lot of determination and kind of motivation. And I think everybody who's still dancing right now has a lot of that in order to be able to be, it's hard, it's difficult. So my mental health, I feel like it's been okay. I mean, there's been times where I'm just like, man, I just want to be in the studio. And I was really, really sad actually coming to PNB because, Nutcracker, the PDs get to be in the Nutcracker. And I was so excited. Like that's the first thing I saw about the PD program. And I was like, oh yes. And so that was hard for me. But at least I got to perform. I got to do a Nutcracker, which was amazing in Georgia. So my mental, it's been okay. It's been fine. I'm just pushing through and trying to just stay motivated and stay training and just pushing myself really because I feel like it'll pay off.
It'll pay off, and this will end. This hard time will end at some point, and I'm hoping as we see vaccines and things like that, hopefully we'll start seeing those numbers go down and we can all dance in a studio together again soon. Not just in little pods or anything else like that. I would love to hear, because I think mentorship is so important in the dance industry. And I know you've talked about mentors before. Who are really those key people that have really gotten you to where you are today?
So I have a lot of mentors, but I think Ingrid, Ingrid Silva, she dances at DTH, and
Dance Theater Harlem, in case anyone doesn't know.
she's amazing. And Anthony Burrell, he's been an amazing mentor for me. Allison Stroming, she also dances at
I
DTH.
love Allison. I've interviewed her before.
Yes. So just people like that have been really key people just helping me not just through this pandemic and also beforehand when I met them in person, being able to just kind of be there for me and be that inspiration or, just help me with little things. But yeah, so them.
Do you have an understanding that now there's a younger generation behind you that's looking up to you, and you have maybe a responsibility to be a good role model as well? Do you feel that after being mentored by these incredible dancers and choreographers?
For sure, especially with social media and everything, which is a big thing now. Just having people kind of like look up to me or reach out to me and ask me questions, it means a lot, really, because I know how it feels to be in that place where you're kind of scared to reach out to people that you think you can help. So I try to always get back, and I love teaching younger kids. And that kind of gives me that sense of like responsibility. It makes me feel like, oh, they like look up to me and this is great.
It's cute, isn't it?
It's definitely weird. It's definitely weird because, I'm still training. I'm still a dancer, but I still feel like I have a lot to offer younger generations as well.
You do. And I think that's always like so important, because if you wind up mentoring a dancer, coming up behind you, you'll
Mhm.
find that you get just as much out of it as they do. Sometimes maybe even more. I mean, they'll love and adore you and listen to your advice, but at the same time, you're like, this is great. This is so much fun. And you learn so much along the way. I think that's why a lot of people do mentor, because they realize there's a lot of give and take to it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I know you're an ambassador, and I follow them on social media, and I love what they do. Brown Girls Do Ballet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an incredibly important program, and you have an incredible role as an ambassador. Tell us what you do for them.
Yes, so with Brown Girls Do Ballet, amazing organization. We just help give back, honestly, like we were just talking about with the younger generations. We try to um, kind of bring awareness to, other brown ballet dancers that are up and coming, different things like that, create scholarships and different things. So just to help, really just to give back. And that's why I love being an ambassador. We do different photo shoots with them, and we do different kind of like giveaways, backpacks or the Bella doll. So just different things like that really help younger generations, tights, leotards, different things like that.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say, ballet is for everybody. And I
Right.
think that it's important that younger dancers see themselves up there on the stage. So when they see you performing with Pacific Northwest Ballet, it's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, and then that's the wonderful thing. I mean, like you are delivering so much by performing in a Nutcracker, whether it's in Atlanta or in Seattle. People are so excited to see someone like you up right there on that stage.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I just feel like a lot of ballet companies are finally understanding like representation matters, and
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to make ballet this exclusive thing. We're going to make it an inclusive art.
Yes. I
Yeah,
try.
and you must hear that all the time from all the little ones too.
Yes. No, it definitely matters. It's a big deal.
It really is. Um, do you have a specific goal? Because I know that you're cross-trained. I know that ballet is your love. Do you see yourself beyond a ballet company? Because I know that you're very well trained in musical theater as well. I mean, is Broadway on your radar at some point?
For sure. I just love being on stage. That's my biggest thing. And whether that's ballet or Broadway or whatever my body is gonna let me do, I just want to do it. And I can't wait. Yeah, Broadway in the future for sure. I have dabbled in acting, so I love that industry and that world as well.
Do you sing?
Um, not the best. I'm not the best singer. I can work on it. But
You're like, I can take lessons.
yeah, so that's definitely something I will be working on. But yeah, Broadway always has interested me. I love musical theater. And yeah, that's my plan. Maybe even opening up a dance studio one day.
I
That
like
something
it.
like a nonprofit that interests me as well.
Yeah, so you're interested in teaching and choreographing, and that's great.
Yes, I love teaching. So
That I love that. So I think some people like have, I would teach dance sometimes to earn extra money. I felt like I didn't have a great gift for it. You know what? And I think people who have the gift for it are incredible because I've
mhm.
had so many incredible teachers, and I'm like, why aren't I as incredible as they are? But I do think that it's something like innate. So I think that that's wonderful that you're nurturing that side of you young.
Yes.
No, do you know where you open your studio? Have you thought about this? Like, would you go back to Atlanta? Would you do it on the West Coast?
Honestly, if anything, I mean, I feel like I'd go back to Atlanta just because they have studios, so many studios in LA and New York or, places like that. And Atlanta is where we need it. When I go home and teach, I just feel like they need more representation of what they could be, what they can be. And I feel like that doesn't necessarily mean you need to move to LA or New York to be great. I just think we just need to continue to give back in smaller places or smaller towns that people don't really see a lot of that. And so, yeah, probably Atlanta.
Yeah, and it's a good spot too because Hollywood has moved a lot of the studios there. And so they always need dancers for
Mhm.
television shows and movies. I know that the latest Step Up, the revival, is filming in Atlanta right now. They just left today, actually. I saw all the cast jumping on a plane to go to Atlanta to film the third season, which is going to wind up on Stars this year. So they're always looking for dancers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you might as well have your studio and funnel all of them to the TV and film, right?
Yeah.
Well, Destiny, you are an absolute delight. I am so excited to just kind of follow your journey and see where you wind up, whether you stay at PNB, whether you wind up somewhere else in the country, whether it's college or in a ballet company, because you have a lot of possibilities. That's what I love.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And if people aren't following you yet on Instagram, where should they find you?
Yes, just my at is Destiny Wimpy, DESTINY WIMPYE. And yep, those are all my socials.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to, I'm going to look for that next step. I'm going to, whether it's like college admission or you're saying I'm going to a dance company or I'm staying at PNB another year, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks, Destiny.
Bye.
Bye-bye.